Order, order. Hello and welcome to Reporters Without Orders, a podcast where we talk about what made news, what didn't, and some things that absolutely shouldn't have. I'm your host, Akanksha Kumar, and joining me in the studio, it's a completely in-house panel. I have with me my colleague, Sumedha Mittal from the Reporters team. Also joining us in the studio is my colleague, Gurmehar Kaur from the podcast team.
Hi, Akanksha.
Who was caught by surprise quite literally this evening. So welcome ladies. How's the Josh at 6:50 p.m. this evening?
I'm tired. I have a submission this week. There's a deadline. I don't know whether I'll be able to meet it or not. What about you, Gurmehar?
I'm thrilled. I'm so prepared and so thrilled. I fully knew I was doing this. And yeah, I'm excited. This is my first time joining the RWO table as a reporter. So I'm very excited, Akanksha. Thank you so much for having me.
And I think Sumedha wanted to share an anecdote at some point.
Oh,
so
God.
please go ahead and get it out of your system.
Oh, it's about, I think, Gurmehar, and I don't want to throw her off the chair by sharing that anecdote.
Okay, wait.
I had shared it with Akanksha.
Do I know this?
No, I don't think you remember it.
Okay, I hope this is not something
Gurmehar,
embarrassing.
I was in my first year of Masters in Computer Science and you were in third year and we were going to host a TEDx show. I don't think it's the right time to bring that up. Can you remember that?
A TEDx show? I don't know. Host it.
Yeah, we were going to host a TEDx show. It was not in DU, but it was in IP.
Okay.
I was doing my masters from there.
Okay, yeah.
And we had invited you as a guest.
Mhm.
And I wrote a beautiful long message because that incident that
Yeah.
had happened on DU, your incident, had just occurred. And we invited you and you said yes and you were thrilled to read that message. And Gurmehar was like, wow, nobody has written this kind of beautiful
Yeah.
lines for me. And, at that point, as students, we are all supporting you.
Yeah. Oh, so I was
So
in
you-
first year. This is why I'm a bit confused. So I must have been in my first year then. Yeah.
Yeah. It was 2017.
Yeah, my first year. Yeah.
Okay, so 2018, yeah. So then the last minute you said no, that you can't come because you have other commitments.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if it's the right time to bring this up.
No worries, both of you
It
are...
depends. I think no, but it really depends. If it was right at the peak
No,
of
but the event got cancelled after that. So I was happy.
okay.
And I was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
nervous that my
Okay.
guest dropped out the last minute.
I
The speaker.
can't remember. Okay, but to be fair, that does sound like me. It's it does sound like me. But I don't think I must have had other commitments. I think I must have been going to
It's
some
fine.
anxiety, public speaking,
Yeah.
just
It's
mental
tough
health
time, yeah.
crisis, and then I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was very tough.
yeah, I think it was probably
Very
that.
tough.
Yeah, but no, sounds just like me.
Yeah.
Very last minute in everything.
Anyway, so we'll get started with the discussion. This week, there are two reports which we will discuss in this podcast. Gurmehar has filed a ground report from Jalandhar on the aftermath of the crackdown on supporters of Waris Punjab Day chief Amritpal Singh. And Sumedha's latest story focuses on casteism prevalent across IITs. The issue has been in news after the alleged suicide of a first-year student at IIT Bombay. We'll discuss that story in the second half of the podcast. On 23rd February, following violence at the Ajnala police station in Amritsar, politics in Punjab has been in news for the last 1 month. At the center of it is a self-proclaimed radicalist who goes by the name of Amritpal Singh and has an outfit by the name of Waris Punjab Day. He has been in news for his comments around secessionism and Khalistan and is currently on the run. And my first question to you, Gurmehar, is that, the story made for a very interesting read. And it's equally interesting to know that people on the ground, the village that you visited in Jalandhar, there are two very vehement voices among those quotes. One is that please project us accurately. Don't make up things about us as a society. And second is that we don't know who this guy is. We don't really believe or look up to this guy, Amritpal Singh. Help us understand how has this guy managed to garner so much attention by the media in just a span of a month?
I think so. I think one, I don't think he's garnered attention in a span of a month. But regardless of that, it has just been 8 months that he's sort of garnered the attention of media through his. So the way Amritpal sort of got on the Sikh activism scene, and it's something that I had been a part of for a long time, was during the farmers' protest and almost towards the conclusion of the farmers' protest. With the gap between the conclusion of the farmers' protest and the beginning of the Punjab elections. There was this. He's this young man, fairly vocal, almost very charismatic, very articulate, and he would go live on the social media. He would carry a lot of clubhouse conversations. And then from what I learned from his family was that eventually he realized, and he was at this whole time during the farmers' protest, he was in Dubai, talking about the plight of Sikhs and what he believed Sikhs want in Punjab, where he also is from. But I think what his father told me that he came back from Dubai and decided that now he's going to, the word is Amrit Shakna, so he's now going to go turn into a devout Sikh and Nihang. And ever since he came back, he was immediately made the chief of Virus Punjab Day. It's an organization that was created by Deep Sidhu before he passed away in the tragic accident. And ever since he became the chief, media has been following him, whether it's local media or whether it's national media. I don't think Amritpal is a 1 month phenomena. He's definitely an 8 month phenomena. That doesn't necessarily take away from the sort of question of who is this man, where did he come from? But yeah, he came from Dubai, where he was handling his father's automobile business, and he turned into a devout Sikh upon arrival, and has been demanding for Khalistan for the longest time. But I think I also do want to answer the first question that you asked, which is about how people are feeling. I think the quote that you do mention, it is about the shopkeepers, the tea stall, where the very viral video is from, of one of Amritpal's supporters, his sort of a man from his entourage being taken away by the Punjab police. So ever since that happened on the 18th of March, and I was in Mehdpur. It's a small town just across Nakodar. And I was in Mehdpur, and I went there just to interview the guy at the tea stall, and a whole bunch of shopkeepers surrounded me, and they were just like, "You people, you come from Delhi, you lie about us, you say terrible things about us. We want nothing to do with you. Why can't you just say the truth?" And I think this has been a large sentiment on ground in terms of their sort of collective hatred for how the media is presenting Sikhs, and how everyone is sort of painted with a broad paintbrush, with a broad stroke, as terrorists or Khalistan, people who are demanding for Khalistan. Whereas there is definitely a small section that does feel that they want a separate state, but that doesn't necessarily mean a religious state. That also, even those elements have multiple factions amongst themselves, those who do want a separate state. But largely, I don't think, and the sense that I get from ground is that demand for Khalistan doesn't necessarily exist the way Delhi media is making it out to be.
A follow-up question related to this is about the outfit itself. Now, when comparisons are made between Amritpal Singh and Bhindranwale, Bhindranwale was also a part of this religious institution called Damdami Taksal. And I think that also had a major role to play as far as his rise to fame is concerned, because that was a very influential body at that point of time. What is the role that Varis Punjab Day has in this entire political churning? Are there any sort of leaders behind this backing it? Is it a politically sort of agnostic phenomena, or is there some kind of politics at play here?
I think there's definitely politics at play here. I think the question is whether it is deep state politics, whether it's diaspora-funded politics, whether it's truly a ground movement. But if we do say it's truly a ground movement, then how is it? And a lot of Sikh activists have questioned this, that we have been on ground for the longest time. We have worked in Punjab for over 10 years, over 10 years, ever since they've been in school, ever since they've been in college, and some of them are 30, in their mid-30s now. And they are saying that we've been working on ground for so long and we've never been able to gather such mass support on issues that are very, very pertinent to everyday lives of Sikhs. For example, transnational migration, education, drugs. However, which is why the question arises, how is it that in 8 months, a man shows up from Dubai who doesn't have any history of groundwork, who doesn't have any history of being in the public, and suddenly becomes this massive, almost like a pariah for Sikhs and their demand of Khalistan, which never really existed up until it was brought up and sort of painted again by the media and some diaspora outfits during the farmers' protest of Khalistan. So I think it's definitely political. What kind of politics is going behind, what kind of game is being played, is definitely a question everyone should ask. However, in terms of the work that Waris Punjab has done, they are, even in Punjab, they're fairly, I would say, popular and known for their drug de-addiction work that they have done. In fact, in Jallupur Khera, which is Amritpal's own village, he started a de-addiction center. However, again, while this is a great work and while it is great social work and it is needed in Punjab, the question again arises, how is it that one man can claim, de-addiction when all of us know that process of de-addiction takes so many, how can he claim that ever since I started this, young people of Punjab have left drugs and moved on to towards a religious path, and just in a span of 8 months? I think it's medically impossible, and I think those are very large claims. But this has been the work of the outfit in Punjab, and again, it is a bewildering situation for even those who've lived all their lives there, like me.
Sumedha, I would like to bring you in here. Like in one of the editorials I was reading, that one aspect of this debate is also the fact that as a state, Punjab is reeling under multiple problems, be it unemployment, be it the issue of drug addiction, as Gurmehar mentioned. Even the farmers, I think they also have multiple issues. There is a constant sort of reduction in their land holding size. So there is a sense of unrest and dissatisfaction even there, a state which is considered as the rice bowl of India, and there are these cracks in the Punjabi society which tend to sort of give an impetus to a culture of violence, which is kind of reflected, and there have been a lot of essays and articles on this, to a violence of culture, something which is reflected even in their songs. Right. The kind of misogyny and the gun culture that you hear on a daily basis, it has become a part of their culture, which sadly kind of reflects the degradation that the society is kind of have gone through in the state of Punjab. Do you think that it is perhaps these cracks which give way to figures like Amritpal Singh?
I don't think that I will be the right person to answer this kind of a question, because I haven't reported on Punjab that much, and I haven't been brought up in Punjab. I was born in Punjab, but I'm not brought up there. But what I have heard, I think Gurmehar would be the better person to answer this. But what, Gurmehar, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that, what I have been hearing from all, my family is from Punjab, and from my relatives, from the people I talk to in Punjab, they tell me that, there has always been a vacuum, because the state has reeled under with so much problems from 1947. Which state has gone through partition, this kind of a such a big crisis?
Right.
So there was partition, there was emergency. then there was like some
Operation Blue Star.
yeah, Operation Blue Star, and then there was this whole movement of left which completely failed in Punjab in 1970s. So the state has gone through a lot, and there has been like always a vacuum to, you know, like somebody who can come up and fill that vacuum and save Punjab. So in a bit, like, it has like this, because it has lost its direction a lot of times. What do you think about that, Gurmehar?
I mean, I do agree with you to a very large extent, but I think the answer to just your question, and I've been pondering about it quite a bit myself, is that why is it, who is, why do young Punjabi boys and girls look for a hero in figures like Deep Sidhu or Sidhu Moosewala, almost like a refuge as well, into Deep Sidhu, Sidhu Moosewala. Why do they become almost like quasi god? Is and something that I've been and how Amritpal as well has become this quasi god. And I think when I look back and also sort of and I go back to the beginnings of Amritpal, where he entered the space post farmers, almost the conclusion of the farmers' protest and the beginning of the Punjab election. And I think when we look at what happened during the Punjab election, there was so much uncertainty on who was going to be the chief minister. There was so much turbulence within the Congress itself between Captain Amrinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu. And there was and that party broke into multiple. That party broke into multiple fractions, and Captain Amrinder Singh, who had been the strongman leader, who had been the person that one would vote for, joined the BJP, and because of the farmers' movement, there was so much disdain for the BJP that there was no vote that was going to go to that party. Whereas, and similarly with Navjot Singh Sidhu, because of how things played around with him, there was a sense that he's not a trustworthy chief minister because he flips and flops quite a bit. He doesn't have a clear stance. He doesn't have a clear stance. He doesn't have a vision for Punjab, just a vision of wanting to be the chief minister. However, and within this, there has been created exactly what you said, Sumedha, this leadership vacuum of who do we look up to. AAP came into the picture because this was the option that people of Punjab were left with after the brokenness of
But I don't think that Punjabis have seen Amritpal Singh as their leader, because see, it's like, and the facts are, and why do I say this? The facts are very clear on the ground. Do you see any kind of protest happening for Amritpal Singh, that free Amritpal in Punjab? No. Like, there was only one very minor protest which happened in Mohali on 21st March. After that, we haven't reported any such incident. So if people had really looked up to Amritpal as their hero or as their, like, refuge who would save them, so then, I don't think Punjabis would not have supported him. If they can come and sit on the Delhi's border for their own rights and fight against Narendra Modi government, they would have surely stood up for Amritpal. So I believe the answer is very simple. So we don't see that kind of a support for him.
I don't think. I'd agree with you. I don't think that there is a mass support for Amritpal. However, there is this
sympathy in factions.
I mean, not even like sympathy in faction. However, there is this. You see this charming young man who speaks in the language you want to hear. You don't find, as a young person, I'm speaking as a young person. There's so many anxieties you are feeling there when it comes to employments, whether it comes to transnational migration. So many young people want to move away, especially at the what's the word for it? Especially right after the farmers' protests have happened, and a lot of young people, their primary idea of existence and work has been farming. And I think in a moment where young people feel so much anxiety about their future, they do sort of take refuge, not just not in like seeing Amritpal as like this leader, but almost seeing a hero-like figure that you want to follow, almost like an influencer that you want to follow. You don't necessarily think they're going to lead you into
political leadership.
It's not. You don't necessarily think it's going to be political leadership. However, you look for leadership in your life.
Is he more like a media phenomena?
Probably.
Because he was in headlines after that Ajnala violence.
Yeah, but Akanksha, there's one more thing to it. Like, we also need to look at it from that kind of a lens, that building this whole narrative of Khalistan, who does it help today?
Acha, right, sure.
Who does it help? Like, Amritpal has been, in the last 10 days, we have spotted so many news is coming out that Amritpal was last spotted in Nepal, then in Delhi, then today he was spotted in Mohali. Like,
he just gave a statement on video.
Yeah. And why the government is not able to catch him? Like, why the Punjab police has not been able to catch him? Like, so there are a lot of, I am looking at it with a lot of skepticism because I'm a reporter and that's my job. But we also need to see that same kind of a pro-Khalistani movement was built, narrative was built when there was farmers' protest.
Yeah.
So who does it help?
It actually kind of fuels this us versus them divide and this constant sense of fear. So it maybe helps the ruling party.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the next follow-up question, which is that the government has been going ahead with some sort of crackdown online as well. And Twitter accounts of some journalists and activists have been suspended. What exactly are the fears of the center at this point of time? To listen to the response of this question, you'll have to hear the complete podcast on our platform. The video part of the podcast ends here. We will continue discussing the story on Amritpal Singh. The video part of this podcast ends here. To listen to the complete podcast, log on to newslaundry.com.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो मेरे खर्च पर आजाद है खबरें.